Hey, what's up, people? Piz out here, and continuing my series, The 13 Days of Friday the 13th. Today I'm going to talk to you guys about Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives, written and directed by Tom McLoughlin. And Jason Lives, Friday the 13th, Part 6 finds Tommy Jarvis returning, this time played by Tom Matthews, returning to Crystal Lake, although now they've rechristened it Forest Green because I'm guessing tourism was way down. I mean, who wants to visit a place with a death curse? Who wants to visit a place known as Camp Blood? Who wants to visit a place where people go and meet their bloody, gory, awful demise? He is accompanied by Ron Perillo, his friend Hawes, played by Ron Perillo, who we all know, of course, is Horshack from Welcome Back, Kotter. Their intent is to go to Jason's grave, dig him up, for Tommy to see Jason there, dead, rotting, a corpse, and to cremate the body so that he can sort of purge himself of all the trauma and torment that Jason Voorhees has inflicted upon his life. In a fit of just furious anger, he tears an iron bar off of a nearby fence and Tommy jams it into Jason's heart. Well, moments later, a stray lightning bolt hits said iron rod, reanimating Jason in a very Frankenstein-esque manner, and Jason is on the loose yet again with Tommy trying to, urge the sheriff that, Jason's alive, he's back. At the same time, a whole new crew of camp counselors is at Camp Forest Green now, and for the first time in Friday the 13th history, the kids have actually arrived at the camp. There's actually kids at the camp, whereas in every other Friday the 13th movie that featured sort of the camp counselors, Jason was destroying them before the kids even had a chance to get to camp. So that's ramped up. That's ramped things up as well. We've actually got kids in the mix, in trouble with Jason on the loose. And the thing about Friday the 13th Part 6, it kind of not necessarily writes out the events of Friday the 13th Part 5, but certainly writes out the end of Friday the 13th Part 5, in which we saw Tommy wearing the hockey mask and about to do some Jason-style carnage. I've always liked Friday the 13th Part 6. It does a lot of things really well. It's a really well-made film. It's a very polished Friday the 13th film. It's a very ambitious Friday the 13th film, considering its budget. We've got car chases. We've got explosions everywhere. I love Tom Matthews as Tommy Jarvis. I think he's a great Tommy Jarvis. I love C.J. Graham as Jason. Of course, Friday the 13th Part 6 introduced the world to Zombie Jason, which sort of the Jason that we all think of when we think of Jason. We think of rotting zombie, walking corpse Jason. It's pretty well written. Tom McLoughlin wanted to bring a gothic element to the film, which with a lot of nods to other films and of course the classic Universal movies. Harry Manfredini updated his score, adding a gothic element to it, which was really cool. We've got the Hollywood element. We've got this sort of this was the time of Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4 was a huge crossover. They had Dawkins on their soundtrack, so they were, that movie was very MTV friendly. This is what they tried to do with Friday the 13th Part 6 by adding Alice Cooper to the mix. Although I don't think it worked quite as well as in the case of Nightmare 4, but that was their attempt. That was their attempt to cross over into sort of pop culture, to make their own MTV friendly Friday the 13th film. But this is sort of the downfall of Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives, in my opinion. And the reason why I like the movie far more as a kid than I do as an adult. We get a lot of one-liners, we get a lot of levity in the film. The film has a great sense of humor about itself, but at times it just feels very, very heavy-handed to me. It feels like too much. The one bit of advice that writer-director Tom McLoughlin got from Frank Mancuso Jr. when he said, look, I want to make a lighter Friday the 13th film was fine. You can make a lighter Friday the 13th film, just don't make fun of Jason. So they're throwing Jason into these weird comedic circuit. They're not making fun of Jason, but they're throwing him into wacky circumstances. Jason walking out of the woods and seeing an RV bouncing up and down because two people are inside having sex, and Jason's response is the classic, curious, confused dog head tilt. We have a lot of moments like that in the film. Not necessarily making fun of Jason, but throwing Jason into a very comedic moment. The sequence that stands out the most, of course, is the people in the woods, the company execs having their annual paintball game, and Jason shows up and he does the triple decapitation, and it's just, you know, fun stuff like that, that as a kid was far more fun to watch than as an adult. I find it a little hokey. I find it a little much. I find it a little heavy-handed. They went too far with the comedic element with Friday the 13th Part 6, as far as I'm concerned. Now, I still love the movie. I still like the movie. Well, I still like the movie a lot. I still watch it occasionally. But I think that was sort of its downfall. They wanted to make a pop-friendly MTV Friday the 13th movie, and it just didn't quite pan out. Like I said, there's a lot of things going for the film. I love the ending. I love the Ring of Fire on Camp Crystal Lake with Tommy Jarvis. You know, that showdown at the end of the film with Jason Voorhees. I love that. I think that's great. You've got a couple of great kills in the movie. You've got the sheriff being bent back onto himself, which was just a great kill. Like I said, C.J. Graham, I think, is a great Jason. Yeah, there's just a lot of things going for this movie, but like I said, you know, I find it hard to watch, quite frankly, now as an adult, because of, you know, the levity, because of the comedic elements, and not because they're not funny, or not because they're not you know, pithy or whatever. I mean, there's the part where the drunk cemetery caretaker looks directly into the camera and goes, "Some folks got a strange idea, entertainment." You know, that was funnier when I was a kid than it is now. You know, I don't know. But yeah, I like Friday the 13th Part 6. It's one that I watch every now and again, just to watch it. It's definitely not my favorite of the series. But definitely let me know what you guys think of Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives, in the comment section below. Was the humor too heavy-handed for you? Do you think it was right on? Is it your favorite of the series, your least favorite? Where would you put 6 in the series, or at least in the first 8, in the Paramount 8? Where would you rank Friday the 13th Part 6? And for me, it's somewhere right in the middle. It's a good film, a well-made film, a solid film from a good filmmaker with good acting, decent characters, not really standout characters in this film. None of them are very memorable, to be honest with you, aside from Tommy Jarvis. But a solid film, an ambitious film. Yeah. So, anyway, that's my thoughts on Jason Lives, Friday the 13th, Part 6. Let me know what you guys think of it in the comment section below. And until I see you guys with my thoughts on Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood, take it easy. Peace.